Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Woodwork Podcast. I'm Matt Perry, joined by Anthony Milne and Stephen Hall. How are we, people?
Yeah, all right.
Good.
Feeling refreshed, ready to get back into it.
I've been in this room for so long today, just staring at screens. I'm very tired.
But that's what I do every day, Matthew Perry.
That's true. Fair enough.
I'm still on the intensive, because the last week and 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's been non-stop with my essays and then exams. Each one were about 4 hours, and you need to use every minute of it. So it was it was challenging, but happy to be over that now and can get back to this.
Completely fair. And talking about this, Anthony, what were the predictions like for the last week? We didn't have a podcast last week, but we still sent in our predictions.
We had 2 sets because I just added up the week before and this week.
Nice.
So because we didn't do it last week, right? So in last place with 11 points is myself. Added on to the 5 I had beforehand, and that's 16. Bear in mind, we're recording this about 30 minutes before Liverpool game kicks off, so those points haven't been added either.
Shit, Liverpool playing tonight. I forgot about that.
Yeah. And in joint top with 17 points apiece, Stephen and Matt, which means Matt is in front because he got 7 points in the first week, meaning he's on 24, and Stephen, because you only got 4 that first week, you're on 21. So 3 points between you two and a further 5 points between myself and Stephen.
That's a shame. Oh, voice crack. That's a shame.
I can't even.
That's a shame. Anyway, it's Stephen. I'll shake your hand, sir. Both got 17 points. Both clearly know our stuff.
Well played, sir.
So what happened is, I think I got more right results, like right winners, but I didn't get a single scoreline right, whereas you got a few each.
I saw a scoreline I got right the other day. I think West Ham to beat Burnley 1-0 I got right or something like that.
I got Liverpool to draw 0-0 with United, and I think I got to beat Southampton 2-0.
I can't remember. No, Leicester v Chelsea. You got.
Oh, Leicester v Chelsea. Yeah, I knew it was Leicester v someone.
Yeah, 2-0.
Such a shame.
I'm trying to remember if there was another one.
The one that annoyed me was that I had West Brom down to draw with Wolves, but at the time I was thinking, do you know what? I reckon West Brom could win this one, and of course they bloody did. So I've got to say it with my chest next time. I wouldn't have predicted 3-2, putting that out there, but I would have predicted Brom to win that just because Wolves ain't been playing well lately.
Like I say, there's a few that we all got right. There's a few we all got wrong. We all got Wolves, Brom wrong, but we all got Spurs, Sheffield right. So swings and roundabouts.
Fair enough. Where do you want to start today? What team would you like to look at?
Shall we discuss the 2 Manchester clubs? Because I feel like we don't need to go in as much depth for them as Chelsea and Liverpool, who have been struggling in recent weeks or recent month and a bit, depending. So we'll discuss the Manchester clubs first, because I feel that, I don't know, we've discussed United already, but obviously now we can discuss a bit more in depth given the performance at Anfield, and also discuss City, because we've kind of assumed they're out of it for the whole season, and now it's not like they ever weren't a title contender, but it's only now they're back in the top 2 positions.
So yeah, it's been a couple of good weeks / month for the 2 Manchester clubs. Man United and Man City are both in the top 2 at the moment, with Leicester just below them, I believe, on goal difference against City. I might be wrong. But yeah, I mean, for example, Man City picked out a good result last night, 2-0 against Villa. Maybe a bit flattering. Did you just watch the game last night? It was pretty mental.
I did. Yeah, I think Villa deserved. I predicted that game to be a draw, and I think Villa did enough to earn it. But it was, I mean, City just had the quality in the end.
What did you think of the first goal?
Which one was that? I had that offside controversy thing. Yeah. Well, I guess according to the rules, Mings does touch it, which means he becomes an active player. And I mean, it's controversial. I'm sure that maybe a lot of managers might try and play that, put a guy in front so they can come in and capitalize off a defender who's trying to play it out. But yeah, it is legal in the laws of the game. It's just that might be something which people might start to get angry about, and people might start to demand changes in that rule. I'm interested to see what you guys think of. It is a legal rule.
I mean,
do you think it should be?
No, I don't think it should. I was completely baffled at the time why it wasn't given offside, because he's come from such a position that's just such an advantage to him. I mean, yeah, I get what they're getting at about Mings has touched it down, which means it's kind of overruled the fact that he's off. But for me, it's still too much of an advantage. I don't know. It's a bit of a sketchy rule, really. And the problem is, it's like, I think someone, I can't remember who it was, but they said after the game, I mean, it's got to the stage where the players don't know the rules because they switched them too much. So
that's true. It feels like football in general is more confusing to follow or know the rules to now than it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Like changing these rules, and it's never. Sometimes you think it's only slightly, then you realize how much of a drastic effect it has. Like the handball rule didn't seem like something massive at the time, and now it's a big thing. You know, it's frustrating. We'll probably see, but given all the issues, more rule changes in the following seasons, which, yay, I think. I don't know.
Well, I guess with VAR now, there are so many different things you can check that there are probably going to be more rules and shake-ups and rules to accommodate for it.
Yeah.
This might be one of them.
I love the way the other sports handle their virtual refereeing, because football's not the only sport that has it. Rugby has it, American football has it, basketball has it, just to name a few, right? They've all got it basically where you can't really tell. So, we have some really narrow offsides. If you can't really tell, you give the advantage. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, if you can't tell, give the advantage. Like,
Well, I guess with BT, they have that thing where they have like a ex-ref in the studio to explain the rules. Maybe they need to mic up the refs, or maybe the people in the VAR studio. Maybe people in the VAR studio can explain, like, from their perspective.
So rugby does it, right?
Yeah.
American football does it with big decisions where they go onto the field and the ref has got a mic and he says, roughing the passer, first time, blah, blah, blah. Like he explains why. Obviously, you can do that with football because of how fluid the game is. You can't have every decision the ref stops to explain. But if he's mic'd up and they just activate the mic when he's like explaining, so if a player's like, "How is that a foul?" He'll go, "You did that. You know you did. It's a foul. Shut up." And then people will be like, "Okay, so that's his reasoning." Or, "Is that offside?" It's hard to tell because he's only got like a fraction of a foot. I don't know.
I mean, they could still make the wrong decision, but at least we understand their mentality behind making the decision.
The big issue, especially with refereeing decisions in the league, is that there's no accountability. They don't face any consequences for making shocking decisions. Like, I get it, it's not intentional. No one's saying, "Oh, lose your job over it," but like, because you've you've hurt someone, or you've done it deliberately. But if you're bad at your job in general, you normally are let go. So why aren't
maybe referees could get like 1 game suspensions or something? Because obviously players get suspended for getting sent off.
I think sometimes if the ref does something really stupid, I think they do get they do like miss out on a weekend of
But it's always kind of quiet. It's always just kind of like they're not on it. There's no addressment. There's no
It's very hush hush, isn't it?
Yeah, to me that's the big issue with officiating in sport. I get it's a difficult job, but if you're gonna make mistakes, at least just be like, yeah, mistake was made. Like, there was no punishment for the Van Dijk situation. I know it's because to me that's still one of the biggest ones of the season so far, the Van Dijk Pickford situation, and like there was no because everyone was saying they got that horribly wrong, and the referee on the day has since said we got it wrong, but here's why, and I'm like, okay, you've explained it now, fair enough. A few months
too late.
You've explained it now, fair enough, but why are you not? Why was there no punishment? Why was there no, we've had players be punished post-game, for something that happened in the game that was missed. Anyway, different topic. Man City, Stephen, you've had them as title contenders at the beginning of the season, but then you didn't during the season, I believe. What do we think?
I think because Man City are not the Man City we knew before. I think they've sort of transitioned into a different team this season. They're not the sort of team that is going to batter teams 5-0 every week now. They are more sort of solid, and they sort of tend to win games more 2-0, 3-0. And at the start of the season, we kind of took that as them underperforming, but really it's just a switch up in the system. and they've been silently doing well for a few games now. And I think, I think we just kind
more
of
than a few games, hasn't it? To be honest, with the way this season's been, there's no way you can't rule Man City out. They've played well every game. They've got a good team. They're doing well defensively right now. We'll get on to some stats when we.
I think personally for me, City are my favourites to win the title.
Yeah.
Now
I can see the argument why.
I think they're my favourites to win it. Yeah, so I see City as title contenders. Personally, they're my favourites, I think, to win it. But also, obviously, I can't count out Liverpool. But also the other team I can't count out the way they're playing in the squad they have is actually Leicester. I think Leicester look pretty good at the moment.
See, Leicester, once again, we were saying this last year and then they dropped off. I think based on current performance they are, but I'm wanting to withhold saying that, because it's the same with when a month and a half ago we were saying it's Chelsea, Tottenham or Liverpool. Then it's going to be Tottenham, Man City, Liverpool. Then it's Liverpool to Manchester clubs. And now apparently it's two Manchester clubs. You know what I mean? This season is so topsy-turvy and all teams are so close that title contenders are so difficult to call right now because no one's maintaining a good level of consistency once they're up top. Every team has done well chasing it. And as soon as they're about to go top or are top, they start to dip. Tottenham dipped. Chelsea dipped. Liverpool have dipped. So we'll have to see how the Man City do. I mean, shall we? So we're discussing
Man City. Man City apparently, Aguero's just picked up COVID, and apparently De Bruyne has got a bit of a hamstring injury. So it'll be interesting to see how they play.
He got subbed off, didn't
possibly them two missing
in that match against Palace. Yeah, I think De Bruyne.
Apparently, he might have a tear on his hamstring.
That's going to be a big deal. That's losing De Bruyne. I mean, losing De Bruyne is huge for them.
But I mean, they got the depth. And they've got Foden, they've got Gundogan, they've got Bernardo Silva, they've got people who can come in. I mean, they're not De Bruyne, but they're still.
I was going to say none of them are De Bruyne's level, I'm afraid.
No, but I have to say, to be fair, at the moment, Gundogan
they will still walk into 90% of Premier League teams.
I don't think Foden would, but that's me just going from the fact that I've never seen him play more 5 games in a row of good 60 minutes plus.
Okay.
Shall we move on to the red side?
Yeah, let's move on to the red side. Man United beat Fulham last night 2-1. Fulham went 1-0 up, obviously, and Liverpool drew 0-0 with them. I'm still personally not convinced Man United are in it for the long run. I don't know what you two think.
They're stumbling into it by chance. It seems like they're just they're not really, dominating games or playing amazingly. They're just somehow winning them by sheer luck.
Which is what we want, I guess.
Yeah, I'd rather have that than Liverpool's 80% possession, 15 shots and no goals. Man United, to me, are definitely top 4. I can't see, the way they're playing right now, top 4, but based on the way they approached the Liverpool game, I can't see them being title contenders because they did not play, they clearly do not have the confidence in their team yet to play like title contenders. The way they sat back.
Yeah. I think their next few games, their next 5 games are going to be interesting to see how United do for the rest of the season. Firstly, they got Sheffield, which they should be winning, let's face it. That's probably 3 points. Then they've got Arsenal, they have Southampton, they have Everton, and they have West Brom. I think they're 4 pretty tough games for them.
Yeah, I wouldn't say any of them are particularly easy.
No, I wouldn't even say West Brom at the moment could be easy because you think away to West Brom under Big Sam, bunch of big physical lumps. It'll be interesting to see how United do over the next 5 games.
I've got to say, I think this is the best I've seen Paul Pogba play in years. He has been really good recently.
Arguably the best
when he's interested, he is incredible. For ability, he is one of the best midfielders in the league. But due to his attitude, he's not there. So when his attitude's right, he's incredible.
Well, I think it can be mainly attributed to him playing a more advanced role because he's mainly playing out on the wing, isn't he, or as a central attacking midfielder. I think that's probably where he's better, where he's allowed to, be more creative and not have to track back and do as much defending. I think when you do that, because he seems like someone who doesn't want to defend. like he's very reluctant to defend. So putting him in a more advanced role, I think, just makes sense, and we're seeing like him reap the rewards of that right now.
Mm.
And he just seems to pull off a wonder goal every match.
Sadly for Van der Beek.
Yeah, because I can't really recall a player that has overturned a team as much by just arriving as Bruno Fernandes has done. He didn't play brilliantly in the Liverpool game, but this season he's been incredible. He has been game-changing to Manchester United. You know, people compare him to Eric Cantona in the way that he transformed United when he arrived. And considering he's considered one of the great United players, that's very high praise for Bruno already.
Here's an interesting question. Do you think he would have had the same effect if he joined Arsenal in January?
I don't know. Because I think United had good players around him. They just couldn't get it all going. Rashford is a good player. Martial, when he's on form, is great. Pogba, like you say, he is great when he wants to be. You know, even the likes of Fred has had a massive resurgence. Fred has been one of their underrated highlights.
McTominay even has looked pretty solid. I mean, not breathtaking, but solid. He's looked decent.
Yeah, but he's not a breathtaking player. He is he's old-fashioned, kind of gritty midfielder.
Everybody needs one, though, in their team.
Yeah, they do. You just need someone who's going to do the ugly work. And ours is stuck in defence.
Something Chelsea don't have in their midfield currently.
That feels like a segue from Manchester United onto our teams that are struggling, Matt. But before we do that, I just wanted to ask you guys, based on current form, where do you see United finishing? Because I don't think any of us have them as genuine title contenders, but whereabouts do you think they're finishing? Because you've been saying, Matt, they're not top four the last few weeks. Still hold to that, or reconsidering it?
If we're going on current form, then they'd finish fourth. But that's going by current form. So that's going by Chelsea and Tottenham not playing as good as they should be.
It's difficult because how many big teams have they beaten this season? Obviously they drew against Liverpool. They lost to Tottenham, didn't they?
They drew 6-1.
That was the 6-1, wasn't it? What about City? They drew 0-0 against City, didn't they?
I think they drew 0-0 against us. Might be wrong though.
I think it was a draw. It might not have been 0-0, but I think it was a draw. So, yeah, Man United have been putting away the teams they should be putting away. But if they do want to be genuine contenders, they've got to actually come out and play against the big teams.
Let's see how they do against Southampton.
One of the bona fide big.
I guess this season they beat Liverpool. So
yeah, thanks for the reminder.
Got me points in the bag anyway.
I think definitely top four, but because I think Leicester again are in that conversation. It's just Tottenham. I
look at Leicester's squad and I think, where's the weakness in that Leicester team? They're pretty sorted.
What I would say with Leicester is, I would say that there's players in the league who are better than every single player at Leicester. There's someone better at that position in the league, but Leicester themselves do not have a weakness.
Nah, and I'm
besides maybe depth.
Leicester's scouting, mate. I
think they have the best synergy of any team in the They might not have the most talented squad, but they got the best sort of synergy, and everybody sort of understands how each other wants to play, what role they play individually, and I think that's mostly down to Brendan Rodgers just drilling them into shape. And they've been relatively lucky with injuries. I think they've missed Ricardo, but Justin has came in and looked brilliant.
Justin's looked class, yeah. This is what I mean. Their recruitment.
And he barely played last season.
They got Justin from Luton, didn't they? That's mad. They just, since Ranieri's been there, their scouting team have done such good work.
And Soyuncu, he came from Freiburg.
Yeah, and then you look at Mahrez, you look at Kante, you look at Telemans. Obviously, Telemans had a bit of a profile anyway, but that's some good recruitment.
The FIFA career mode legend.
Yeah, Telemans.
Where did they get Ndidi from? I think it was like Genk or something, wasn't it?
Telemans and Bakali, FIFA legends. Yeah, who else was Castagne? He's been an okay buy as well from Atalanta.
He's been solid, yeah.
They just make good buys all the time. It's quite annoying when you see a team whose signings are sort of doing all right.
They just don't miss.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we've got our main German striker, midfielder, who was dubbed the next Kaka, and he can't even trap a ball. I don't know if you saw that. There was literally a moment where he's failed to trap the ball, and I'm thinking, people have been raving about Havertz. Like, has he got a twin brother who they've switched him with or something? Like, it don't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Kai and Jai.
It doesn't make sense, man.
Well, I guess that's a good segue to talk about Chelsea then. In that case,
yeah. Sorry, I was getting angry.
And I was good. I think Havertz, he still has the ability. I just think he just needs a better manager to guide him.
Oh, it's so tough. It's so tough, man. Obviously, we beat Fulham. It wasn't a good game. We lost to Leicester 2-0. We didn't deserve to.
In or out?
I'm Lampard in.
But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all?
Because I just, if I'm Lampard out, then that's the problem with Chelsea in general. We sack a manager again, and we're back to square one.
But when you look at the people who are available now, Allegri, Tuchel.
Yeah, I wouldn't take either of them. I don't think that's a. I mean, Tuchel. Okay, I can understand. He's been, he's German, isn't he? So it make a bit of sense. But it's just like if we get rid of Lampard, it's the same old, isn't it? And we need to have that period. It was always going to be 3 to 4 years for building this team together. But at the same time, Lampard's management hasn't been great. His in-game management isn't but good. He's stuck to the 4-3-3 system all the way through December and January, and it hasn't worked. So he needs to. He's not there.
What needs to be done then? If you're Lampard in, you're sticking with your guy. What needs to be done?
For the most part, we need to grin and bear it. It's going to be tough. The next month's going to be tough, but he needs to show that he's more willing to adapt, because at the moment he never has a plan B. And the first thing for me is switch the formation. That's the first thing I would do. Definitely, I'd even think about switching to a back five, but then we've basically just got rid of Tomori to AC Milan, so that's one of the people you'd have in the back three. So that's annoying.
I think Chelsea right now, they just need a solid man manager, someone who can come in and drill some sense into these guys. Because clearly, whenever you play, they just look like they don't care, the Chelsea players. They're not playing for their manager.
They're just not playing well.
There's no energy, no fight, no enthusiasm.
We pass it around. We always dominate possession. We pass it side to side, try and go in the box. Nobody can attack them, so we lose the ball. And then we get it again. We'll pass side to side. We'll keep going side to side. No one's willing to run and attack.
You could genuinely say the same about Liverpool there, like verbatim.
You just think though with the players we have, no one attacks. No one tries to run at players. Hudson-Odoi played quite well against Fulham, and then he started in the Leicester game, and he was absolutely crap. It's like
they just look aimless. They just when they're playing, they just look like they're not really sure what they're supposed to do.
I mean, the only one who tries or looks like he's trying is Mason Mount. The rest of them are just.
You can probably put Reece James in that category as well.
Yeah, Reece has just come back from another injury, so maybe it's too soon for him. Rudiger was awful. I mean,
the defense in that game were absolutely shocking. I mean,
Chilwell was bad as well, has to be said. Yeah, I at the moment, Mason Mount's the only one who, to me, seems to actually put in a shift.
Welcome to Matt Perry's Buster Success.
Yeah.
Kai Havertz, Buster Success.
Bust.
Timo Werner, Buster Success.
Bust.
Sajic, Buster Success.
Bust.
Mendy, Buster Success.
Bust.
Really? That one is.
I mean,
it's an improvement on Kepa.
It's an improvement on Kepa, but it's not.
My mum would be an improvement on Kepa.
Yeah.
That's really rude. Ben Chilwell.
Oh, I'm going to give him the
success.
I'm going to give him the benefit of that, and I'm going to say success because, to be fair, it's only the last 2 games he's played crap.
Thiago Silva, Buster Success.
He's the only success in that back four.
So of all the players you got in this summer, the only one you're considering success is the one you didn't actually pay for.
36-year-old, yeah, that's the one. Well, I mean, Havertz and Werner aren't a success. We've all seen it. We've all seen it.
Because Frank Lampard's not utilising them correctly. He's playing them not in their natural positions, not in the system they want to play in.
if Havertz isn't playing in his right position, that doesn't justify why he was unable to trap the ball the other game. It's like
I agree with you. They're not being played in the right position, and that is a big important thing. But also, these are players who are considered towards the top of their game. They should be able to play out position to a good level. Even
Werner's played striker and left wing. So where is his best position, or is it the formation?
Yeah, I think Werner needs to play with someone else up top.
So is that
like at Leipzig? Werner played with Yusuf Poulsen up front, who did all the hard work, and then
Poulsen's basically a Giroud, isn't he? So why don't they try Giroud and Werner up front together?
Why not? Give it a go.
Because they couldn't do that in a 4-3-3.
Yeah, but give it a go. Switch formation is what I'm saying. Go to a 4-4-2.
Oh no, I agree. Chelsea have a squad that they should be able to do this.
We've never really played with two strikers. That's in recent history as well.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. Drogba and Anelka.
At this point, what have you got to lose?
No, we've got nothing to lose. The only big question is who would be the midfield two.
Mount and Kante.
Yeah, probably Mount and Kante. Yeah, and then left and rights up for pick because they've all been crap. Havertz has been crap. Pulisic hasn't been good. Ziyech hasn't been good. Hudson-Odoi so hit and miss, hot and cold.
Is Pulisic and Ziyech more to injury or more to performance?
Ziyech has just come back from injury, so maybe there's that. Pulisic's been back a little bit longer, and he's just playing crap in general, to be honest. He's not crap. He's just not doing anything. So it's been a bit disappointing. So I don't know. Our only attacking threat going forward is when bloody Reece James crosses it.
I think it's a case of Chelsea. Like they bought players who are good, but they all sort of don't play in the same tactical style.
Yeah,
because Werner likes to play with two up top. Havertz seems to play sort of a sort of 9.5, like a 10.5 sort of role.
Yeah.
And Ziyech, he likes to play more like a tiki-taka, not like a high-pressing sort of game, because he's that sort of player who isn't quick, but he's really good at passing. So
the problem is
a mishmash of players who don't really play the same style.
And if you want to play them all, you've got no defensive footballer in there besides Kante, which is why we need a defensive midfielder, some big lump, because that's something we're missing at the moment.
If there seems just more players who look good on paper, but when you actually think about it, they don't really synergize with each other.
I did say
Now they're saying we're going in for Haaland. Like, what's Haaland going to want to come to us at the moment?
But also, Haaland's release clause doesn't trigger until 2022.
Which is why apparently they want to get in early, but I can't see Haaland coming.
But how do you get in early for a release clause that isn't able to be triggered yet? I don't understand how you get in early for it if you're not allowed to access it.
No, because that's the release clause, so it doesn't come into play. So you can still bid for like higher. You can put
but I'm sorry. Why would you pay for 20-year-old, like 150 million for 20-year-old Haaland when you can get 21-year-old or 22-year-old Haaland for 66 million?
I mean, to beat off the competition.
To me, that's a no-brainer.
Beat off the competition, they'll make the money back in shirt sales.
Maybe, I don't know. To me, it doesn't seem logical because I think as long as you're a good landing ground, so if Liverpool waited to go in for the 66 million pound release clause, I would consider us still a good destination for him wanting to come to. With Klopp still here, with the players we've got, with the success we've had recently. What I'm saying is, like, as long as you're a good landing spot, wait for the release clause. And obviously Chelsea might not be a great landing spot, but you're also in London, which is a factor. You have to.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's London, isn't it, as well?
I think honestly, he would suit Man City a lot more. I think it'd be a better move for him to go to Man City at the moment.
Yeah, I'd agree, but you don't know if they're going to go for Kane.
Because they don't really have a striker right now. Jesus hasn't been doing it. Aguero's just permanently injured, it seems like.
And his old man played for Man City. It kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense. I think it'll be a perfect move for him.
He'll probably end up going to Liverpool, and then you'll never really end it for Man. Okay, let's move on from Chelsea because I'm just going to end up topping myself.
Will we move on to Liverpool then, considering they've been a bit poor? Right,
they've been poor, but you know.
Look, I've got my theories as to why, what needs to be done, and what the issues are. But I want to hear what your thoughts are, without the whole, they're not going to win the league right now, or they're not going to. Just genuine discussion. What do you think's going on, or why do you think, like, you know what I mean? Like, give me your thoughts.
They've lost their dynamism in midfield. The reason why the front three haven't been firing is because the midfield behind them have been leaving them feeding off scraps. But Jordan Henderson needs to be starting midfield. Like, it doesn't matter if you have to play Nat Phillips or Reece Williams at centre back, just do it. The value you get from putting Henderson in midfield is going to overrule the fact that Nat Phillips or Reece Williams aren't as good at centre back. And being Liverpool anyway, you're probably not going to concede that many goals anyway. If you would press them high and you attack teams, you won't have to do much defending. So it's not that much of an issue. So they really miss Henderson and Fabinho in that midfield. I think you have one or the other has to go into midfield. Otherwise, their front three just can't do anything.
So Liverpool drew with West Brom 1-0. They drew with Newcastle 0-0. They lost to Southampton 1-0, and they drew with Man United 0-0.
It's the first time since this front three's been assembled that Liverpool have failed to score in 3 consecutive Premier League games.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the impact of not having Van Dijk there, because you've got to switch the whole team round due to your injuries at the moment.
Yeah, to be honest,
I guarantee you, if Van Dijk was in that team, I think you'd have picked up more points than you have out of them 4 games.
To be honest, I completely agree with all the points you've made, because I've made the same ones whenever I've talked about Liverpool recently with people. Basically, because Fabinho and Henderson have been pushed into the back 4, that means you've lost them in midfield, which is crucial. Those 2 were our 2 best midfielders last year. You know, Thiago's good, and he did look good in the United game, but he can only do so much. And then because those 2 are in midfield because those 2 are in defence and not actual defenders like Van Dijk or Gomez, Trent and Robertson can't push up as far back the same way because they're worried about being caught behind, because they've not got that same defensive coverage that Van Dijk affords or Gomez affords or Matip affords. So you've lost the attacking prowess of your fullbacks as well, which for us is crucial. You're missing the stuff in midfield. But also, I also think the front 3 are all out of form. I don't even think Firmino's out of form. I think he's partially past it. I still think he's a good player. But it's very frustrating for Firmino because he puts in some good work rate, but now he's doing less.
I think the main problem is, by the time, because you're not moving the ball as quickly as you would with someone like Henderson or Fabinho in midfield, by the time Salah or Mane gets the ball, the other team can run back and put 10 men behind the ball quicker than they can get up the field.
It's infuriating watching Liverpool play right now because we are playing good football besides the final third. I've seen great football from Fabinho. Fabinho has been, I honestly think he deserves to be one of the defenders of the year this year because he's
been fantastic.
He's not a centre-back and he's playing like a brilliant centre-back. He's been incredible. Alisson has been really good as well. He had some really great saves against United. Crucial saves, but like we had 18 shots, they had 7. They had 4 on target, we had 3.
Yeah.
Because against United, their 2 midfielders were Wijnaldum and Thiago. That's not gonna. I mean, Wijnaldum maybe, but Thiago is not that sort of player who's gonna work hard and cover loads of ground. He's that sort of player who has the defensive midfielder behind him, and then he can pick up the passes without having to worry too much about defending.
To be honest, Thiago, everything went for Thiago and Shaqiri that game. They were our 2 best players. Thiago had some excellent plays. He had a great shot. I say great shot. It was a good shot. It wasn't going to trouble De Gea, but at least he did something. Wijnaldum at this point, if we could get rid of him 6 months earlier, I would. Wijnaldum's either great or shit. There is no in between. And considering he's wanting to be paid the same amount of money as Van Dijk and Salah. So he wants to be our joint highest earner. Wijnaldum does not deserve to be our joint highest earner when there's likes of Mane, Henderson, Fabinho, Thiago, Trent, Robertson, and Alisson all earn less. No, Van Dijk and Salah are our 2 highest earners.
Van Dijk's clearly been whispering in Wijnaldum's ear in the Dutch WhatsApp group, telling him how much he's earning.
Yeah, I think it's frustrating because if Liverpool's front 3 can start finding out goals, if Jota coming back just does that, like if Jota coming back means defenses can't get a read the same way, Liverpool will be back to being a genuine title contender. But if things continue the way they are now, because we're apparently not going in for a centre-back in January, which I think still is a huge... Honestly, even if you pick up someone who's crap for 6 months or 12 months...
Even if it's just a loan, anybody on loan.
So Arsenal have cut Socrates, right? He's cut.
Yeah, Socrates.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's slow. Yeah, he can't play it from the back. Yeah, but if you put him next to Fabinho, he doesn't need to be that. It just lets Henderson going back into the midfield, and you've got a Premier League experienced centre back who plays well.
Isn't Ezekiel Garay currently a free agent?
But he's, 34 now?
Give him to the end of the season.
I'd rather have Socrates because he's Premier League proven, truthfully.
Why not?
But I don't get why Liverpool aren't. I get it's COVID and they've got to be careful financially. And I do appreciate that because the worst thing you could do is not be smart with your finances during right now. And I feel that...
I think you'll beat Burnley at the moment, to be fair.
Well, the game started 6 minutes ago, so we're just going to get a quick score update. And I bet you any money it is 0-0.
Bloody hell, 6 minutes in. That's a good guess, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm right. It's 6-0.
Oh, well done, you.
Liverpool have had 2 shots and none on target. So progress there. But Matip is back, so he'll be back for now, then out for another 2 months because the man is made of glass.
Fair enough.
Shaqiri's injury prone as well, which doesn't help. Oxlade's injury prone. Kite is injury prone. We've got Gomez is injury prone. Like, we need another centre back who can just play more than 10 games in a row. Like, I don't think Matip's ever actually played. No, he has. He had one spell where he played consistently for a long period of time. But in the last 2 seasons, I don't think Matip's played more than 5 games in a row due to either injury.
Just like a consistent, like last season, like they pretty much played the same starting lineup almost every game. Maybe bar a couple of centre midfield changes, but
I would say
haven't had that consistency.
I would say injury wise, we have been one of the worst hit. Like if you actually think about it, think about that Liverpool starting lineup this weekend, right? Just there against United. Okay, so Van Dijk and Gomez and Jota are all out because they're actually still injured, right? Alisson has been out with some injury this season. So has Henderson. So has Fabinho. So has Trent. So has Salah. So has Mane. So has Thiago. Pretty much 8 or 9 players from that starting lineup have all been injured at some point in the season. Out for at least 2 weeks or more.
We'll get to it later, but that's why I did put them at third in my preseason predictions because I said it was either going to be they're going to get bad luck with injuries or complacency. And you can't really say they've been complacent, but the injuries have...
I wouldn't say they've been complacent. My problem...
I don't think so either.
Problem
it's more the injuries.
They're not trying anything new as well, which is really infuriating. You know, Minamino played against Palace and he scored and did a lot of things where he was dragging defenders away. He hasn't played since, besides like 3 minutes against Southampton. Like, what are you doing? Firmino's not working.
Or even
try something else.
Start Origi for a game. Give him a chance.
He's starting today, but Origi's a donkey. I don't want him starting. I want him gone, truthfully. Thank you for...
Champions League hero.
Thank you for Champions League. Thank you for Barcelona, Anfield, Origi, but you're a donkey. Get gone.
Oh! Football fans are fickle, aren't they, Stephen? All right,
Not really. I've been saying this about Origi for 3 years. The only reason I kept him was because he scored wanted to keep him was because he scored a couple of crucial goals that one season. I wanted him gone a season before that.
All right, let's move on from Liverpool because I'm sure you'd like to watch some of the game tonight. And Stephen, is there any other club you want to talk about?
I guess maybe Leeds because they have been pretty crap recently.
Yeah, been a bit off the pace, I suppose. They lost to Brighton at home, which is just...
And they didn't have any... Like, obviously, they're trademarked for... I guess that's not the right word, but they're known for their high energy, high pressing game. And against Brighton, they just look lethargic. And
I mean, to be fair, I'm looking at it, and they drew 3-3 with they drew 3-3 with Brighton as well, didn't they? They drew 3-3 with them. And they also beat West Brom 5-0. But I suppose you're referring to the fact that obviously they lost to West Brom 3-2. And also, I'm thinking of Wolves. No,
the Wolves have been pretty crap as well.
No, yeah. Sorry, I'm getting too crafty. Okay, so obviously they lost to Brighton. They lost in the FA Cup, which I suppose was the biggest shock. To Mark Wright.
You know, it's embarrassing when Crawley can bring on Mark Wright in the 90th minute just to shithouse them and like, we're so comfortable against you, we're going to bring on Mark Wright.
Yeah, and they lost to Tottenham 3-0 and Tottenham had 10 men for a bit of the game.
But just as a quick tangent there slightly, just because you mentioned Tottenham, I do have to say I think Ndombele's got a good shout for goal this season, by the way. With that.
And Ndombele, he has been fantastic.
Yeah, he's improved. He has
been really good.
He'd be a potential most improved player.
You can take Mourinho's criticism either way. You can take it on the chin like Ndombele, or you can just
and I did say last season, like when we were talking about we did that sort of end of season awards and we gave like the biggest flop. And when you guys said Ndombele, I said I I didn't think he was that bad.
No, but for that season, no, he was.
That's his,
no,
yeah,
he was bad.
But I said like,
he was bad though.
I think like, there was like more to come from him. And
yeah, but for a season at that time, for 76 million, was it 70 odd, 64 million, somewhere between 64, 78 million, right?
60 something million, I think it was.
Yeah, he was a flop. He was bad. He's improved, hence why you get most improved player. But like we also said, Nicolas Pepe last year as well. We said Ndombele and Pepe were the two that stood out because they were big fees and neither really did anything. And Pepe hasn't improved, whereas Ndombele has.
Yeah,
I think like he's looking like, again, I think it's two French midfielders, Pogba and Ndombele, who have looked a lot better this season for their respective clubs.
Yeah. Moving back to Leeds, let's play the old where are Leeds going to finish. What position?
I'm still saying between like 10th and 15th. I think 13th is a perfect lock for Leeds at this point.
13th they've moved down to. I think they were higher up at one stage. Okay, we'll say 13th.
I'd said after the first game of the season, I could see them finishing top 10.
With Leeds,
to be honest, with the current table, they still could. So
with Leeds, it's the same old. They're quite good attacking, but they can't defend. They need a defender, better defender.
I did see something funny. Do you remember the old like meme about Liverpool when they were really good going forward and really bad in defence? You know, it was like the Ferrari at the front, then like a broken down car at the back. You know that, like,
yeah.
Well, the one is now where it's like a Ferrari back in middle for Liverpool, and then just nothing at the front, like just no front of a car.
I think it should be the middle. That should be the one where there's nothing.
My friend's just
no, because it's not due to the midfield being bad. It's just the fact that midfielders aren't able to be played in midfield.
But I think the attackers are doing bad because the midfield are doing bad.
Well, no, the midfield are doing good at other parts besides the creativity part. But we've never been a team that made it through the middle of the park.
And to be fair, I think also you could talk a lot about the fullbacks as well. They've been pretty shocking recently.
No, Robertson's been good. Robertson's been one of our best players this season.
Just to escape it, and I've just had a text from my mate saying that Liverpool are looking a bit scrappy. Burnley have had 2 shots on target now.
Let's check the update. It's still not saying anything for me. Hang on.
Liverpool been struggling against teams who park the bus. Basically, let's just put it out and park the bus. And Burnley are like the worst team to come up against if you're struggling against teams who park the bus.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, a win here would be great.
Liverpool have had 64% possession. They've had 3 shots, none on target. Burnley have had 2 shots, 2 on target.
Are they still playing Fabinho and Henderson at?
No, Fabinho and Matip.
Oh, Matip's back for this game. Okay, so I was going to say they could have just hoofed it past Fabinho and Henderson in this game, Burnley, and just hoofed and
not Fabinho. That's the thing. Henderson and Fabinho. The reason that you didn't play Phillips or Reece Williams against United, Stephen, is because both of them would have been burned far more than Henderson and Fabinho were able to have been. They are so slow, both of those centre backs. Rashford, Bruno, Martial, Pogba would have.
Reece Williams isn't slow.
Yeah, he is. I watch them every week. Trust me. Compared to Gomez, even Matip, even Van Dijk, he's a snail's pace. He's young though, so that's still be improved. But he's not that great. He's good. He's done well when he's been put in, but he is not good enough to be a starter in that team. Fabinho right now could probably be our second choice centre back. Genuinely, if Van Dijk was fit, I'm not even kidding.
I guess that's what Klopp's got to figure out right now. Is like, does he want to have more attacking threat but be more vulnerable, or does he want to shore up the defense and basically have nothing for the attackers?
The fact he has continued to play Henderson, and he's played Henderson at centre back 2 weeks in a row, and both Phillips and Reece Williams were free to be played, genuinely makes me think he doesn't want to play them. He doesn't want to play them because if United, I didn't expect him to play them against United. Southampton, to be honest, they're both 2 good teams in form, so it makes sense to play Henderson because he's probably more reliable there, despite not being a centre back. Whether against certain opponents, though, if you play it, we'll see. Because I think it depends who. Against tough teams, he isn't going to play them because they're not ready for it. Anyway, we'll move on to.
Yeah.
Let's move on to predictions, shall we?
Let's move on to predictions because we were talking about Leeds then, and somehow it's still come back to Liverpool. Right, predictions. Next week we start with we don't. It's
FA Cup weekend, but there is one Premier League game during the weekend
because Aston Villa have about 10 games in hand. Aston Villa versus Newcastle, and I'm going for 2-0 to Aston Villa because Newcastle are playing fairly atrociously, and Villa looked good the other night, and they didn't deserve to lose against City. So Villa to win 2-0. Stephen.
The fact that Steve Bruce is still manager of Newcastle kind of shows that you can kind of do anything and you can achieve anything, because if Steve Bruce can still manage this Newcastle team, you can go on and achieve anything. So I'm going to say 3-0 to Villa. Newcastle are shit.
I've also put 2-0.
Relegation.
If they keep Steve Bruce, I think they are in danger. I think Fulham and Brighton are playing better than them right now.
That's true.
I've put Villa to win 2-0 as well, Matt. Similar reasons to what you've said, same as you, Stephen. They've been good up going forward. Jack Grealish, in my mind, is one of the. I can't hate Jack Grealish. Like, genuinely, there's nothing about Jack Grealish I hate. Like,
it's class.
I mean,
class.
It's just everything you see about him on the pitch, and like when you hear the stories about like his brother and his sister, and
maybe he's driving.
He does. And my point is, I like Jack Grealish. I'm liking what Aston Villa are doing right now, despite smacking us. 2-0.
Lovely. Then we come back to Newcastle for another good spanking. No, I'm joking. Newcastle versus Leeds, two teams not in good form. Come back straight to you then, Anthony. Newcastle Leeds, what do you reckon?
Despite Leeds not being in good form right now, I still have them winning this 3-1. They're good going forwards. Newcastle are being a bit poor and they're not really sure. Despite Callum Wilson being a good player, I don't think it's enough. So while I still expect them to get a goal, because Leeds' defence is just woeful, I expect Leeds to win this one.
Fair enough. Stephen.
Yeah, I mean, I just went on a whole tirade about how shit Newcastle are, but Leeds, they have been just as bad recently. So I'm going to say this is going to be a 1-1.
Fair enough. I am going to go for Leeds to win this 2-1. Bit of a bounce back, and I just think it might put the nail in the coffin for Newcastle. And Steve Bruce, I don't know. It depends. Mike Ashley probably won't even sack him.
No, he won't.
So yeah,
he'll be too busy sacking people at Devon's.
Yeah,
like as long as Newcastle don't get relegated, he's going to be in that job until he croaks.
Yeah.
Crystal
Palace versus
he chokes on a chip butty.
I'm going to go
2-0. 2-0. Okay.
It's okay. Yeah. It was literally just me going back and forth. So 2-2 is what I'm going to say. 2-2.
I'm going to say 2-1 to West Ham. Crystal Palace, they're just not that good, are they? They did sign a new striker today on loan, Jean-Philippe Mateta. Interesting to see how well he does, but I still don't think that he's going to play in this game. So I'm going to say 2-1 to West Ham.
Bit of a kick in the up.
I'm also saying 2-1.
Kick in the backside to Batshuayi, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm also saying 2-1 to West Ham. They've been good this season. They have been good. They've never this is the problem with West Ham. On paper, they are a good team. When you look at some of the players in that team, there's good players there, but they weren't performing well last year. They're performing well now. 2-1, yeah.
What's going on with Batshuayi right now? He just seems to like.
Batshuayi peaked
on the
at the World
warpath.
Cup.
He's never been good.
But Batshuayi peaked at the World Cup where he kicked the ball into his own face off the post.
But Batshuayi's never been good. He does.
But the camera panned to him like warming up, and he literally was just standing. Like people around him were warming up, and he was just standing there, just looking bored. Like I just don't think he cares.
To be fair, love his personality. But he was always really good personality at Chelsea. But he's never been good enough, which baffles me because he actually plays quite well for Belgium, but he just doesn't seem to do it in the Premier. He needs to get out of the Premier League. He needs to get over to Germany.
I think Roy Hodgson's just not been impressed by his work rate, and he's sort of probably let him know. And Batshuayi being who he is, he's probably retaliated by him, being like, okay, I'm just not going to try.
If I'm Batshuayi, I'd be trying to get over to Germany, somewhere like Gladbach or Leverkusen or something. Southampton. Oh wait, no, Anthony, you did do yours. Southampton versus Arsenal. Stephen.
Didn't Southampton beat Arsenal in this fixture earlier this season? It was a 1-0, wasn't it? It was 1-0 at the Emirates, and I think they're going to do it again. I'm going to say 2-1 to Southampton. Up the Saints.
Anthony?
I've went for a 2-2 for this game. Arsenal have been doing a bit better recently, considering their poor form in November and December. They're scoring again. Aubameyang's scored again. Lacazette scoring. But obviously, Southampton are in good form. They've been playing well this entire season, so I'm saying 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say Arsenal have picked up form, but in reality, they beat a terrible Newcastle side and they drew with Crystal Palace. So I'm going to go for Southampton to win this, and I'm going to go the same as Stephen. I'm going to say 2-1. because I just think Southampton have played very well.
Yeah, all of Arsenal's wins recently, apart from Chelsea, have been against, let's face it, crap teams.
Yeah, but at least they're beating the crap teams.
Fair enough.
But the last few seasons, Arsenal have been drawn to the crap teams and then losing to the big teams. That was their issue. Yeah. They're now winning against the crap teams. Mm. You know, don't be wrong, they've still got big issues.
Still below us.
Speaking of crap teams, West Brom versus Man City.
Well, West Brom versus Man City.
So who's got the largest scoreline here would be the question, I think.
I'm gonna go for Man City to win. No, do you know what? I'm not going to do a large scoreline. I'm going to say Man City to just win 2-0. 2-0.
Yeah, I've been a bit more conservative for Man City standards, and I'm going to say 3-0.
I've went 4-0.
There we go.
We've all got the same reasoning, so you don't need to explain it.
Yeah.
Chelsea Wolves. Wolves beat Chelsea in the reverse fixture, but since then have not been in good form. Chelsea, not good form. So, Anthony, what you got?
I went Chelsea to win 2-1 because it's at home and they need to win. They need a win and Lampard needs a win. And Wolves do not have a striker right now.
Well, they got Cutrone back.
Yeah, they don't have a striker right now.
I'm going to say 2-2 actually. David. I think my gut was telling me Chelsea, but then I was like, you know what? I'm going to say a draw. Two teams that haven't been doing quite as good as we probably would have thought they would be doing. So I'm going to say 2-2.
Okay, so this is a must win game for Lampard. A phrase which I've pretty much said over the last month.
Is he sacked if he loses this game?
Well, I thought he was sacked when he lost the last game, so probably not. I've been saying it's a must win game for Chelsea for a while now, and we've picked up 7 points out of 21. So I am going to say Chelsea to win this 1-0, but it's going to be a squeaky old game. 1-0.
Like Fulham limping over the line against 10 men.
Yeah, that's the one. It's not good. It's not good. Sorry, was there something you were going to say, Ant?
No. I was just going to ask which one of you was it that tweeted the clip of Harry waving goodbye at the end of the first Harry Potter movie. We talk about Lampard when he goes to work tomorrow. That was gem. That was a gem.
Yeah, I thought Lampard was a goner after the Leicester game. I'm surprised he's still in. But let's see.
I think that was the worst I've seen Chelsea play in a very long time against Leicester.
Oh, I don't know. Man City was pretty bad. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. To be fair, I kind of
Burnley
forgot about
against
that.
Villa.
Burnley against Aston Villa. Oh, toughy.
I'll go then. I'll say 0-0.
I'm going to say 1-0 Villa.
I've said exactly the same.
Because it is a game where Burnley could pick something up, but I think Villa might just squeeze a goal. So, 1-0. That was quick. Brighton versus Fulham. Brighton versus Fulham. That's a tough one, isn't it?
They're two teams who have been playing decent. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I've went 1-0.
Yeah, they've been. They've both been two teams who have been playing nice football, but just not winning. It pains me to say this, but I'm going to say Fulham are going to win 2-1. They played quite well against Chelsea. I think they played all right against United. I think they can get a result here. So I'm going to say 2-1 to Fulham.
Do you know what? I'm gutted because I was going to do the same, but I'll switch up a bit. I'm going to say Fulham to win 1-0. But it's going to be a pretty dull game.
Mitrovic came back as a sub in the last game, so he should be back because
Fulham are playing all right.
Cavallero has been shocking.
He's terrible, isn't he?
Cavallero is useless.
Lookman is looking class.
Yeah, Lookman's got to play.
Did you see who was it Fulham played? I think it was the Tottenham game when they drew 1-1. I think it was Kamara. All he had to do was square the ball to play in the striker, and they could have bloody won, and he didn't.
He's bloody terrible as well, Kamara. They need Mitrovic back so bad, and luckily he's going to be back. So
I reckon Fulham to win this one. 1-0 I'm going. Man United versus Sheffield. This should be a pretty easy win for Man United. I'm going to go 3-0. 3-0 Man United.
I'm saying 4-1-2. Can you guess who?
Sheffield?
Manchester United.
Oh, that's a surprise.
I'm not that crazy. I'm not that spicy.
Imagine if they won 4-1 now.
Watch them get it first.
I've also went 3-0. I'm not changing my answer just to be a bit different because I do think 3-0 is a more likely scoreline. Sheffield haven't looked great in attack at all this season. United have. United's defense has looked much better the last few weeks. So yeah, 3-0.
Fair enough. Penultimate fixture. Everton versus Leicester. Back to it again. We're getting a lot of reverse fixtures now, aren't we? Everton, Leicester. Obviously, Leicester won the last one, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Wait, did they? I can't even remember now.
I can't even remember it myself now.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, was it?
It was a close one though, wasn't it? It was like a 3-2, wasn't it? Or like a 2-1 or something?
Yeah, and now you say that, I think it was a 2-1 or a 3-2 or something like that.
I think it was a 2-0.
No, Everton did score. They did score at least one goal.
Hang on. Let's check here.
Okay, whilst you're checking,
I think it was Calvert-Lewin, I'm pretty sure, scored first, and I think Leicester came back.
Okay, well, whilst he's looking up, Everton, Leicester. Obviously, Leicester won the last game. This could go either way. Leicester have been in good form. I'm gonna do up at Leicester. No, I'm gonna say
Leicester's
1-0.
away form hasn't been great though, and they're away in this game.
I'm gonna say 1-0. I'm gonna say 1-0. Everton to pick up a point.
Although I did just say that, but I'm going to completely go against my own advice and say 2-0 to Leicester because they've won the last game. I think the last 2 games they've won 2-0.
I suppose Everton haven't been playing either, have they?
No, they've been playing. They might not be sharp.
Yeah,
so
that's another thing. I'll stick to 1-0.
To be fair, Villa hadn't played in the world. And they did all right against City. I mean, the scoreline was a bit flattering on City, but
I suppose after that, it's quite nice.
You're all wrong. Everton 1-0. We're all wrong. Everton 1-0.
Wow.
Oh, Everton won 2-0. Oh, we are so bad at this.
Yeah, there's just been so many games. It's been impossible to remember like all of them. It's just
that makes me feel better about saying 1-0 though. So yeah, Anthony.
So you said 1-0. What did you say, Stephen? Sorry, I was busy looking at
2-0 to Leicester.
Okay, I've went 3-2 to Leicester. Both teams have been scoring well. They've got good attacks.
Yep.
But yeah, so 3-2. And then we move on to the final game.
Tottenham versus
Tottenham
Liverpool.
Hotspurs against Liverpool.
Liverpool nicked it last time out, not that long ago. It's just Liverpool's form since then. I'm going to go for Tottenham to win 1-0.
I'm going to say the exact same thing. The classic Mourinho 1-0.
That's what I'm saying. It's just solely down to Mourinho because it's Mourinho.
Son will score an account and then they'll park the bus for the rest of the game. Yeah. And
it's just such a Mourinho thing to do.
I've went Liverpool to win 2-1. I'm more likely thinking this is going to be a draw, but I've got to back my team and Liverpool need to win. So,
goals.
You'll
get your win against Burnley.
Oh, God knows.
Half an hour, still 0-0, by the way.
So I put 2-1 to Liverpool. I put 2-1 to Liverpool. But to be honest, if this ends up being 1-1, I'll be like, of course it is.
I don't think there's going to be many goals. No.
But then again, like I say, Tottenham-Liverpool last time was 2-1. So we can score against Tottenham because the team hasn't changed since then. If anything, Thiago's come back and that's it.
But you just know Mourinho is going to go into this game just to get that one goal and then park the bus. That's exactly what he's going to do. And Liverpool, as we've seen recently, have not. I mean, if it works, it works. I mean, It's not pretty, but it works.
So, yeah, I believe that's all our fixtures then, guys.
That is all the fixtures. That is the end of the podcast. I am Matthew Perry, a very tired Matthew Perry. I might go and have a lie down, maybe a little cry. See how we go. And I've been joined by Stephen Hall and Hetty Bill. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Good night.